Hello everyone, hope you are all having a lovely day. Now today, me and my team would like to talk about commercialization in sport while also presenting two case studies related on the topic. Now before we jump in, let's meet the team.
Hi, Assalamualaikum to everyone and to our lecturer, Puan Nur Ain. My name is Nur Syaira binti Kasim.
Good morning to the members of the audience. My name is Muhammad Hafiz. Hello.
Assalamualaikum and hello to our lecturer, Puan Nur Ain and fellow friends. My name is Muhammad Nabi Kushairi bin Rohami.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to Mrs. Nurul Ain binti Muhammad Rafai and all fellow classmates. My name is Nurul Syaida binti Abdul Razak.
But wait, before we begin, let me remind you that in this video there are several quizzes which you can answer to win prizes. Pay attention to every detail and you will have 15 seconds to answer within the chat box. The fastest and most accurate answer will be rewarded. Now, on to the first presenter. Take it away.
Okay, thank you to all my group member. Assalamualaikum. Hi, I am Syaira. On this slide, I will explain about commercialization and commercialization of sports. Okay, what is commercialization and what is commercialization of sport? Okay, let me explain to you. Commercialization can be referring to influence of commercial trade on an industry to make a profit. It is a process of or strategy of an organization how to promote their own products and services to their target market. Okay, and how about commercialization of sports? Okay, commercialization of sport is use of sports to produce income designed to make a profit with organized competition through sponsorship, advertising, and marketing. Okay, for the simple meaning of commercialization of sport is how an organization use of sports to make income and profit from it. Okay, in sport commercialization, it is not only sports goods can be commercialized, it also can be sports services. Okay, usually the sport industry use media like internet, newspaper, social media to commercial their own sport goods and services. For example, in the sport industry, we can see how Decathlon, Alesan commercial their product to influence people to buy. Okay, so they may have their own strategy. Okay, we can see how Alesan make a profit by commercializing their product through media. Okay, for example, I can give, okay, when we scroll our Twitter, suddenly we see the ads about Alesan appear on our timeline. Okay, the ads is about Alesan making a promotion and give 60% on 12/12. Okay, that is the way how Alesan commercialize their product to their target market. Okay, let's move to next slide. Okay, for this slide, firstly, sport commercialization transmit value. For example, like discipline, self-development. Okay, athletes should show a good behavior because they have their own follower in society. Okay, so they can be the best example for their follower. That because human learn from what they see. If they see good behavior, they will follow the good behavior. And if they see bad behavior, they will follow bad behavior. Okay, for the example, when the young athletes see their idol hard work, go to training every day, on the weekend they also training. So this attitude will influence young athlete to do the same thing with their idol. Next is policy and rule. Change for financial and social benefit to winner, like contract. Contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties. Okay, an athlete has a contract with the sponsorship company. In the contract, the company will sponsor all the athlete's needs, but with a condition, so that the athlete need to obey with the agreement until the end of agreement. Okay, the rule and policy can be changed with agreement from both sides for their own benefit. Lastly is cheating to win. Okay, we can see how some athletes nowadays are willing to cheat on game for their own benefit. That because they are too focused to get sponsorship. They know if they win the game, many sponsors will approach them. Okay, for example, you as an athlete and you have your own sponsor, and the sponsor say in your agreement, if you won any tournament, they will pay you a certain amount, the big number of amount. For example, 1 million. Okay, in this situation, you want the money and you will do anything, even cheat in game to get the money. Okay, let's move to next slide. Okay, this slide is about framework of sports commercialization. There are 3 framework of sports commercialization. First is commercialized sports. Commercialized sport is comprise organized competition that are advertised and promote for entertainment value. Means that the tournament, sport activity and game can be turned attract big business. For example, Australia has already witnessed the Rugby Liga World fought at huge cost between River Rugby Liga organisation backed by media mogul. For example, Katy Baker and Rupert Murdoch. The second framework is recreational sports. Recreational sport consists of competitions between non-compensated individuals of any age which play sport for fun, usually perceived as being less stressful, both physical and mental on the participant. Okay, example of recreational activity: walking, running, swimming, play game, rock climbing. Okay, this activity joined by various type of age. Okay, last is educational sports. Okay, educational sport comprising competition between individuals enrolled in school and college that are of interest mostly to the athlete, friends and family. We have faced this now and or during our secondary school. We call that as a co-curricular. Okay, this activity are designed to bring social skill, intellectual skill, moral, personality progress, and the character appear in students. Okay, we move to the next slide. This slide is about highest paid athlete. Okay, payday for world's top earning athlete dropped for the first time in 4 years. Okay, that because of COVID-19 pandemic. During COVID-19 pandemic, all sport events are cancelled and postponed. Okay, now that we see the top 5 world highest paid athlete over the last year. Okay. At number 5 is LeBron James, who pulled in $88.2 million for four-time NBA. He joined the Los Angeles Lakers in 2018 under 4-year, $153 million contract. He has the NBA top endorsement portfolio, including Nike and Beats by Dre, as well as his own production and media business company. At number 4 is Neymar, who have $95.5 million. Neymar is currently signed to 5 years, $350 million contract with Paris Saint-Germain through June 2022. Okay. His transfer from Barcelona to PSG stands as the most expensive in club paid in full ahead of his signing. Okay, this Brazilian athlete is also the most second popular athlete in social media. Okay, at the third place is Lionel Messi, who pool is $104 million. Barcelona pay him more than $80 million annually through 2020 and 2021. Okay, this Argentina superstar also launching his own clothing line and opened his first retail outlet, that Messi store. In March 2020, WHO take Messi to lead a worldwide campaign aimed at stopping the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, at number 2 is Cristiano Ronaldo, who made $105 million. Okay, Ronaldo joined the Italy football club in 2018 on 4-year deal which was to $64 million annually. Within 24 hours of the news of Ronaldo joining the team, Juventus sold 520,000 Ronaldo jersey worth over $6 million. This Portuguese star is the most follower athlete on social media. Okay, the highest earning athlete is the Roger Federer, who pulled $106.3 million. Roger Federer is the world highest paid athlete for the first time. Okay, Japanese apparel brand Uniqlo has locked him in 2018 within 10 years. $3 million deal. Okay, the Swiss tennis star has also partnered with Credit Suisse, Mercedes-Benz, and Rolex. His Eponymous Foundation has raised more than $40 million and educate $1 million to children in Africa. Okay, that's all for the top highest paid athlete. Okay, should sport be commercialized? Okay, it is a yes, because sport is a multi-billionaire industry. We can gain a lot of revenues from that. Sports now is a global product. High-profile sport attract massive media interest and huge sponsorship deals. For example, e-sport has become a billion-dollar mainstream industry in 2019. Okay, according to the article in February 2019, global esports revenue hits 1.1 billion in 2019, up 27% since last year. Okay, from that, many companies take this as an advantage to gain profits in sports industry by distributing sports goods and services. But some organizations take it as a advantage for their personal benefit. Okay, for the conclusion of my slide, most important is to remember that commercialization has a positive and negative effect on people that contribute to sports. Okay, it depends on how people handle it. Okay, that's all from me. I will pass to next presenter. Okay, thank you.
Thank you to the previous presenter for their insight on the subtopic. Hello again, I'm Hafiz and I will be presenting about how sport is commercialized. Now through research, we've discovered that there are 4 ways that it could be commercialized. 1. As a business. 2. For public relations and promotions. 3. As entertainment. And 4. As a transmitter of economic values. How can it be commercialized as a business? Well, to understand this, we will be applying the 5W and 1H approach, which is what, when, where, who, why, and how. So, when we question the what is commercialized as a business, the answer is the aspect involving the sales, display, or use of sports products or services to produce income. Next is the question of when. Well, apparently, this has existed for several decades, but only now has been taken seriously at a larger scale. Third is the question of where it is applied. I'm sure you are all familiar with marketing, advertisements, retail, e-commerce, involving sports products or services. Talking about the who often refers to athletes or even the public. But in this case, we will be focusing on 4 groups, which is youth, interscholastic, intercollegiate, and professional. Following on is the question of why. This is because commercialization leads to media exposure for the sport, which would then cause a chain reaction within the industry. Finally is the question of how, which we will employ on the term corporate athleticism, which we will go in depth next. First, we will place focus on 3 key terms: the how, corporate athleticism, and the realization. Now, as stated in the who before, we will be using these 4 groups. Now, a common thing that these groups share is that athletes learn the reward of victory through trophies, publicity, and popularity among peers. However, the realization of this is when there are misplaced priorities of coaches and parents when they push the athletes to be more engaged in sports rather than spending their time on academics, social development, common sense, rational thinking, and cognitive skills. And professional athletes have it worse. Think about it. They are being paid to entertain, which will eventually lead to physical exploitation. I will now pass the baton on to the next presenter to continue the next forms of commercialization.
Thank you to previous presenter. Assalamualaikum. I am Nabi Kushairi. Like I have told you before, that I will present about the sport for public relation and promotions and sport as entertainment. On the first slide, let me focus on explaining what the sport for public relation and promotion is. The meaning of commercialized sport for public relation and promotion is sport has been used to promote the city's business, college and products. Affiliation with the sports allow sponsors to gain structure and generate fan interest of their teams and business products. As you know, the commercialized e-sport are divided into three categories, that is youth, interscholastic, intercollegiate, and professional. So in this point, for the youth and interscholastic, fun, socialization, and development of moral values start to enhance. It means that in this level and age, the youth are started to play sport to make friends and training for development of their skill and the moral values. Besides, they are started to have their idols in sport like Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. Some of the youth are also playing sport to gain the scholarship to continue their study in the future and sport. For the intercollegiate, successful sport team enhance the prestige and external image of their institution. It means if one of the institution or university sports team are successful, it will be automatically enhance their university image. For example, in 2017, there are 35 athletes from UiTM being chosen to representing country in the SEA Games. It automatically makes the image of the institution proud. In the professional level, it is more likely important for the business sector and public relations. For example, it is used to attract the attention of the sponsors. It is also the main reason of the sport company to generate their income for their company from the sport fans. In example, the new JDT Stadium have made the Nike company to sponsor their advertising board as decoration. So, we move to the next slide. This slide is focused on the sport as entertainment in the commercialized. But first, let me tell you about the entertainment. Entertainment is the action of providing or being provided with amusement or enjoyment to its spectators. In other words, the sport as entertainment is the action or enjoyment to its spectators besides promoting the sport towards them. In this point, it is also focused on the three levels. First level is the youth and interscholastic. The second level is intercollegiate, and the last level is professional. For the youth and interscholastic, usually the entertainment that come from sports are the adult level entertainment from children and adolescents. For many examples, nowadays, many entertainment in sport that have been promoted like the World Wrestling Entertainment and others. It may attract the youth level to enjoy the entertainment, but at the same time, it makes the youth are slowly stuck and affect the violence in that show. For the intercollegiate level, the entertainment in the sport are more focused in the integrity versus the sport as entertainment. In this level, it is involved the integrity of the players when performing a sport at the tournament. It is because nowadays many athletes and players are involving with the match fixing issue. The manipulation of sporting competition by organized syndicate has been threatening the integrity of sport. And this actually happen when they can gain a large profit to make it as entertainment. And the last, for the professional level, in the sport as entertainment, in the commercialized sport. In this level, the sport stars to be hero to the children instead of parents, teachers, and community or national level. Nowadays, the sport stars that involve in the entertainment that are popular are becoming of the one role model for the children and youth to further their ambition in sport. For example, the children in South Korea are making the Park Ji-sung as their role model when they appear in the one special episode on the TV program that is Running Man that promote the entertainment in playing football. And now we move to the next presenter.
Thank you to our previous presenter, Muhammad Nabil Shairi. Again, I am Nurul Syahida binti Abdul Razak. So, I will explain about sport as transmitter of economic values. In the transmitter of economic values also involved into 4 categories, which are youth sport, interscholastic sport, intercollegiate sport, and professional sport. I will clarify what is this topic about. It is about how important the economic values to these categories, how economic values benefits them, influence them, and not about what are they contribute to the economy. Early in an athlete's career, economic values may exceed ethical values because the former are rewarded while the latter may be fairly praised. Financial benefits are so important that many athletes, coaches, and sport administrators have redefined sportsmanship as pushing rules to the limit without getting caught. We know that sport competition requires rules and regulations, but when the importance of economic values occur, the spirit of the rules dies to the economic values that exceed the ethical values. So, let's move on to the youth sports. Teachers and rewards real inflections focus on to win and get rewarded. That meaning here is on this level, the coaches teach athletes about the violations, criminal act, and how to escape detection just to win and be compensated. Violence is taught by some coaches because it is perceived it can help in gaining competitive advantages and for their own benefits. There are 2 kinds of intentional violations are frequently observed. First, a player may consciously violate a rule expecting to be caught, yet willingly accept the penalty in order to attain some tactical advantage to the violation efforts. Second, a player may intentionally violate a rule, hoping to avoid getting caught and benefiting from breaking a rule, such as be compensated by the coach. For example, the violation often occurs in football because when the match goes on, there will be some abstraction in play like fouls, yellow card, red card, injuries, and others. At these times, the standard play time is not stopped and resumed. So, at the end of half and full time, referee will add an extra time. This is generally known as injury time to compensate the time wasted during the match when a player had injured or wasted time intentionally by fake an injury to stop the clock. So, the kicker can attempt a potential game-winning field goal. This is not an example that should be applied or emulated by very, very young youths. This is very worrying if it continues to happen among the youths because parents will not believe that sports can have a positive impact on their children. At the same time, it tarnishes the image of sports in our country. Because of these unethical values, indirectly kill the spirit of the rule in sport, the teamwork, discipline, and sportsmanship among youths. Second, interscholastic sport, which is athletic between school, especially at secondary school. Because of the economic values, gambling continues to tarnish the image of sport as a builder of values. Sport gambling can be defined as the activity of predicting sports result and placing a wager on the outcome with the primary intent of winning money or material goods. It is unlawful for a person, especially athletes from secondary schools, to bet, gamble, or wager on one or more competitive games in which athletes participate or more performance of athletes in such games. At this level, the curiosity on athlete raised. They are easily influenced by their family members, friends, neighbors, and others about the sport gambling. At first, they only feel want to know about it. Then, they just want to try. After try and win, for surely, they will addict on gambling. the consequences of gambling in sport have wasted a lot of money. Loss of trust lead you to debt, theft, fraud, and addictive with it. Technically, have disgraced the reputation of schools and sport as a value builder on youth development in sport. Third, intercollegiate, which is athletic between colleges or universities, meets on economics of big times, college sports not really teaching teamwork, overuse, languishing on the bench, sport and gambling. At this level, we always know that institutes will provide an allowance to the athlete who representative their institute or faculty until the highest level. The highest level you reach, the more allowance be provided. The athletes are desperately need additional money as a side pocket and willing to join the games as long as there are allowance provided. This kind of athletes will not focus on their games in terms of teamwork, discipline, self-control, and yet injure themselves through overuse while teammates languish on the bench. Sports and gambling are inseparable in the minds of many because they believe gambling heightens interest in the outcome of games instead of thinking the consequences. Fourth, professional sport, which is become professional athlete, trainer, officials, and coaches as a career in life. At this level, violence, intimidation, sport gambling, and enhancement of ergogenic aid often occurs in sport. Professional athletes or coaches did a violation for their own benefits and for sure because influenced by the highest economic values. For instance, our professional Malaysian badminton athletes Zulfadli Zulkifli and Tan Chun Siang were banned by the Badminton World Federation after being found guilty of match fixing. Here is a short scene I will show you where it shows a person who addicted in gambling and how it's affected on him and to the youth too.
How you doing, Howard?
Hey, good, Howard. I told your mom last night.
I made a crazy risk, a gamble, but it's about to pay off.
I want to put 40 G's on a 6-way parlay on today's game.
We're just playing horse, mister. Why would you bet on that?
This is me. This is how I win.
What crazy thing did you bet on now, Howard?
This kid is automatic. He never misses. He never misses.
Where's my money, Howard?
Let me go double down on a big hopscotch game tomorrow. You know I'm good for it.
All right, but here's a little taste of what's gonna happen if you lose.
Oh, man. Oh, you man. Oh.
Hopscotch? You bet on hopscotch? What the hell is wrong with you, Howard? Don't touch the line! Don't touch the line!
No, no.
How hard is it to jump into a goddamn pot? Where's my money, Howard? Give me my money, Howard. Where's my money? Pay what you owe.
You've got a gambling problem, Howard.
$50 says I don't.
So, as you can see, that people are highly affected by the power of money and gambling. Usually, uses the money as the stakes. The ethical dilemma of sport gambling occurs when moral values like honesty, justice, and responsibility are violated and other individuals suffer because of unethical acts. The moral from the video are, it could hit a huge impact to the professionals as it will end their careers, affect their reputations, influence the youths, and tarnishes the image of sport in our country. As a professional, they should show a good example and be a role model to the junior athletes, youth, and local communities and preserve the reputation and image of the country, Malaysia. Next is about the ethical dilemmas relative to commercialization. Ethical dilemma occurs when an individual must choose between two unfavorable alternatives. Usually it has no perfect solution and those making decisions may find themselves in the position of having to defend their decisions. That is mean there is no wrong or right, which is the answer can be yes and it can also be no. It depends on how your thinking skills to observe it and how you defend your answers by your own opinion. As you can see, there are three ethical dilemmas relative to commercialization given. First, a primary purpose of sport, the promotion of a city, educational institution or product. Second, should sport be used for public relation purposes? And third, does the winning at all cost mentality in sport lead to the exploitation of athletes? Let's take a look at first ethical dilemmas. Is a primary purposes of sport the promotion of a city, educational institution or product? It can be yes. Using sport for promotional purposes is acceptable whenever cities, colleges and sponsors provide funding for sport. The city or educational institution could provide sport funding opportunities to encourage and support our community to live a healthy and active lifestyle. Our country, Malaysia, cities, educational institution and local product indirectly became well known through a sport tourism and established internationally through the promotion of sport. But it can be known when large cities or small use sport to put themselves on the map. That means the cities just use sport to let the place be well known by others. They are not use sport as to increase the sportsmanship in the country, to cultivate the spirit of unity, or to increase the ethical values in sport. The cities only use sport just for their own benefit. Second, should sport be used for public relation purposes? No. It would be better for educational institutions build their reputation and status on academic, not on athletic program at all. That means some high prestige institutions need to develop their image, reputation and build public perception through the academics rather than choose the athletic program to increase the reputation of institute to the public relations. But it is acceptable if educational institutions want to own benefit from the popularity and success of their institution's sport teams. For instance, our official football team UiTM Shah Alam, UiTM FC, the teams always success in their games and have a good image of football club among other university. It is indirectly increase the reputation and image of UiTM Shah Alam and can easily get a sponsorship from outsiders to our football club and any other sports organization. Last but not least, does the winning at all cost mentality in sport lead to the exploitation of athletes? The answer is yes. When athletes are participating in tournaments just to win, they must take an advantage on it, which they are allowing to cheat in the game as long as they have no intention to hurt the opponents. But when they are breaking the rules just to win, then the violation occurs. The other answer of this ethical dilemma is no. Some athletes do not even care at winning the games, as their physical, psychological, emotional, social, and academic well-being are the priorities and most important for them. For instance, the rugby athlete knows that their opponent plays aggressively, so they are willingly give point to their opponent and just let them win the games as long as their physical body does not get hurt or injury. Get it? So, that's all from me. I hope you get a lot of knowledge about this topic. For the conclusion and related issues regarding of this chapter, I will pass to the next presenter, Muhammad Hafiz. Thank you.
Now, let's recap on what we learned so far. The commercialization of sports, the framework of sports commercialization, the question of should sports be commercialized, the 4 ways of how sport is commercialized, the ethical dilemmas related to the commercialization. Now, let's move on to the 2 case studies, shall we? Let's go. Now, this case study is about the commercialization of calisthenics and street workout. To put it simple, this sport is a muscle building exercise using bodyweight training principles. For example, like push-ups or pull-ups. This sport does not use any free weights or machines. As for the when and where, basically you can train anytime, anywhere. This sport utilizes the flexibility usage of the environment to its fullest. Why? Well, for your information, street workout has been globally established and has communities worldwide. How has it been commercialized? Well, based on internet research, it is commonly commercialized through competitions, sponsorships, and media portrayal. This sport is well known enough to have an annual World Cup that is hosted in different countries. Most notably, the 2019 Street Workout World Cup Superfinals were held in Hong Kong on the 29th of November. Another known competition is the World of Bar Heroes, formerly known as the King of Bars competition, which was held during the FIBO Expo, an international trade show for wellness, fitness, and health. These competitions are heavily sponsored by well-known companies in the fitness industry like Reebok, Monster Energy, Kangaroo, Strength Wraps, and more. The third point, media portrayal. Well, nowadays the media is consumed by almost every member of society, especially the newer generation. Videos of street workout and calisthenics being uploaded and watched by viewers through social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and most recently TikTok have taken the commercialization and influencing game by storm. Well, that's the end of this part. I will now pass on the second case study to my partner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Muhammad Hafiz, for the first case study. Back with me again, Muhammad Nabil Kushairi here. For the second case study, that is the local case study. This case study is about UDO announces Malaysia's first PUBG Mobile tournament for universities. And that tournament is the first ever PUBG Mobile Campus Championship, PMCC 2019, that have a participant among 6,000 students across Malaysia battling for their chicken dinners and share of the RM6000 prize pool. PMCC 2019 was a tournament that presented by UDO and published by PUBG Mobile. The championship is also sponsored by Edotco and organised by ESL Gaming. For this tournament, UDO is committed to making PMCC 2019 as the most engaging and action-packed campus-based esports tournament. In addition to the viewing parties and online competition, they are collaborating with the university and their students to organize roadshow all across the country. From the commercialized view, this tournament is promoting about the esports towards students in universities and approach them to reach the gamers community. And there are many gamers that are talented waiting to be unearthed. This tournament is promoting the product that is the UDO Telco data through this collaboration, so they can generate fan interest of their business as described in the commercialized sports style. It is also the way to make their public relations strength with other companies, so they can easily involve and invest in the upcoming events.
It appears we have reached at the end of this presentation, so I would like to congratulate the winners of the quizzes. And on behalf of my team, thank you very much for your time. Assalamu alaikum.